Welcome back, everybody, to Conan Exiles. I'm an old guy gaming, and in this episode, we are going to hit Sepermeru, and depending upon how our time goes, we might even attempt the Wine Cellar dungeon. So, yeah, looking forward to it, and we should have a good time today. So, let's take a look at the map here. If you are not familiar with Sepermeru, it's all the way to the west here, and it's considered the city of the relic hunters, and it pretty much covers this whole little area right over in here. And so there's a couple of storyline items that we want to take care of there, including meeting Conan again. And he's going to tell us some stuff. So we need Inner Sanctum key. We need to find Ramza's key. At least I think we do. Yeah, key to Ramza's quarters. Okay, so we're going to grab that. Ancient key. Oh yeah, that was for the Black Keep. Okay, we don't need that anymore, so we're going to keep that in here. I probably will not be running the Warmaker Sanctuary any longer. So I'm going to put these keys in here too. Hopefully I don't decide I do need to run it one more time and forget I have my keys. Of course, if I did, I'd just have to fight the bosses again, but that wouldn't be a huge deal. Okay, so yeah, we're going to mount up. I'm going to bring the whole crew with me for now, so see if we can get some levels on these guys. However, what we want to do in Sepermeru is we want to change these guys' behavior to guard. That way they don't just automatically attack everybody. Because I mean, if we were going there to like capture thralls or something, I wouldn't care so much, but I don't want them to attack everybody unless we get attacked. And there are enemies inside the city that will attack us, so we have to be careful about that. Okay, so these guys are all our sidekicks, and we are, wait a second, hold on, let's get off the horse for a second. We're missing somebody. We've got 5. We need 6. Oh, let's get one of our... I'm trying to think if there's corruption in the Wine Cellar. I think there is. So let's get one of our dancers, too. We'll get them sidekicked and take them with us. All right. Let's take... Sink the Pillow Dancer. She's not quite as good as Leonelli, but she'll work. Rock, you're in the way, buddy. Fortunately, I can walk right through you. How come I wonder why my tiger has no problem staying by the throne, but the saber's always like glitching out. That is just really weird, man. Anyway. Okay, guys, I will meet you over at Sepermeru, and we will have some fun. All right, here we are at the southern entrance to the city of Sepermeru, and so yeah, this is the city of the relic hunters, and the lore has it that they basically band together in sometime in the past here in the exiled lands and formed this city, and of course this is a good place to come for thralls if you want to. So sometimes you can find some, really high-level named thralls in this area. These guys are usually carpenters. These guys are blacksmiths over here that we just looked at. And let's see. There's a cook. You can always find a cook. There's a dancer here all the time. You can always find a cook right here. And it looks like they're all just, low levels this time around. So what you basically do is you come through and you just kill everybody and wait for it to reset to find somebody else. So this is kind of like the main road that you walk through, but there's also an upper area here. Let's take a quick look at it, which has some craftsman thralls too that you can get. So I've never really, I don't think I've ever really come here for warriors, for fighter types, so this is more of a craftsman thrall place. There obviously are warriors here, but okay, so that's always going to be an armorer there. This is a level 2 blacksmith. Okay, so here's a... Ooh, wow. Enora Stingle Fingers. I don't know where that came from. Steel Fingers. She's a tempersmith. Oh my goodness. If we didn't already have a tempersmith, this would be a really, really good thrall to get. But we have a tempersmith, so I don't think we need to worry about that. Yeah, that would have been a great find back in the day. This is a good place to come for priests of Set also, so you're always going to find some priests here. And there's often like a high priest or even an archpriest up here that you can find. Let's see, what do we got here? There's a high priest. Okay, and then there's also some ghosts there, and there's a book here that you can read. The Harlot's Journal. So, yeah, there's several Harlot's Journals that you can find throughout the Exiled Lands, and you know I think we've probably come across a couple of them, and it just kind of tells the story of this woman who, in her adventures, essentially in the land. So if you're interested, go ahead and pause the screen for a second and read that. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and jump on back down. Now, another thing you can do, you can come here relatively early in your playthrough, and a lot of these buildings will have chests on them, and you can get some pretty decent early game loot, you know, from the chest. So you basically just have to climb up on the buildings and look around for it. See, like there's a chest right there on that building, and there's various different ones that you can find throughout the city. So there's a couple chests up there on top of the tavern. So yeah, it's a good place to come for that in the early game if you're looking for loot. So, all right, let's head on down here. Now this is another entrance from the city that kind of goes more to the eastern entrance. And if you go out there where those scorpions are, there's a rhino boss that you can fight. And then if you keep going way out there and then kind of around the corner, you'll get back down to the silver mine where the scorpion queen is that we did several episodes ago. All right. This is Conan. Everybody calls this Conan's Tavern because Conan is inside of the tavern, and it's also the place where you get to the Wine Cellar dungeon, which we'll probably do in a little while here. But here he is. So sometimes you can also find some high level dancers. Like these are all level 3 dancers, so you can come in here and capture these guys too if you're looking for a decent dancer. Conan won't do anything if you start a fight in here. He just stands there. And there's also this, and this is basically just a hint telling you about the Wine Cellar. And there's a dude in there called Zeth, and if you kill him, he has a chance of dropping a truncheon, which is better than just the normal steel truncheon. So you can farm him, but it's a pretty low chance. Sometimes it takes a lot of kills to do that. Rock, horses aren't allowed in the tavern. What's going on here? You go back outside. Okay, so now let's go ahead and have a chat with Conan.
So you live, and we meet again. Tell me, have you had a good chance to look around? Seen your fill of these exiled lands? It's not too late to get back on that crucifix. Any fool can see that you need answers. Left hanging for the vultures on that cross. A cursed bracelet that keeps you trapped in this place. Everybody trying to kill each other. I should leave you all to your fate. I don't have the stomach for sorcery. Give me a foe that I can strike with cold iron. I'll be here a while. This wine tastes like boiled camel's piss and the bread's half weevil, but I'm comfortable enough. If you have questions, ask. I wandered for a while after I pulled you from that cross. In the south, I found desperate souls and Darfari man-eaters. In the east, apes that walked like men among the overgrown ruins of an ancient city. I found an amphitheater where the ancient dead walked, and the memories of ancient battles stained the sand. It stank of sorcery, so I left. I have traveled far and seen much, from the glittering ice of Asgard to the jungle expanses of the Black Kingdoms. I have been thief, pirate, and mercenary. But nowhere have I seen gods as I see them in this land. These avatars that stalk and spread destruction in their wake. These are not gods. These are what men want gods to be. Weapons.
He's talking about how you can summon the avatar of your religion to destroy other people's bases and stuff. Not something you generally do or need to do in single player.
There is a woman. I freed her from the cross just as I did you. I followed her trail across the exiled lands. I missed her here by a scant few hours. She had left in search of a map room and a way to free herself from the exiled lands. Her trail ended in the map room. She was gone and all of her companions slaughtered. Listen. If you have news of Razma of Shem, let me know.
Okay. So obviously he's talking about the opening scene of the whole video game itself.
What do I know of sorcerers and their feuds? I do not dabble in the dark arts. But whoever and whatever put you here is a wielder of the dark arts. You are like a wolf in a trap. You struggle to flee, and yet, in the end, it will kill you. Be smarter. Find out what they want, then hold it close. They will come for it. And then your jaws around their throat. Just remember this. If you do succeed, if you do manage to find a way to remove your bracelet and leave the exiled lands, you will have to make a choice. Stay and be the hero of your own story, or leave and risk losing it all. The choice will be yours. Choose wisely. Any fool can see that you need answers.
So, yeah, it's very interesting, some of the things that he says. Whoops, I put auto-target on. A lot of the information he gives is kind of like something that you would, assuming you've never played the game before and you didn't know anything about the game, it's information that you would want like early on in the game, but which is, kind of weird just because you don't usually come to Sepermeru. Ooh, level 3 smelter. Sepermeru real early in the game. I mean, you can, but most players wouldn't do that. So, and he talked to us a little bit about once we get to the point where we can remove the bracelet, then we have to decide if we're going to leave or stay, because we might want to stay. This is all just the story itself, right? You might want to stay because if you build up a kingdom like we have, and you have your own personal army and you're living in luxury, I mean, why wouldn't you stay, kind of thing. But and one thing I've never really understood about the game, in terms of the story, is once we remove the bracelet, why couldn't we still stay if we wanted to? I mean, Conan doesn't have a bracelet; he can come and go. So yeah, I didn't quite get that. Now, there's a whole nother aspect to Conan Exiles 2, and it's like they've left some story undone. There is, in the Conan lore, there is a really powerful sorcerer, and his name is Thothamon. And, we've heard a couple of other NPCs talk about him, or at least refer to him, as we've gone through our adventure here. And, it seems like there should be some kind of an encounter with him, in a way for us to to defeat him or kill him, because it's his fault that we and everybody else are here in the first place. So I don't know, maybe Funcom will in the future come out with a Conan Exiles 2 to continue that story. I think that would be really cool. I don't know if they are, or aren't going to do that, but that would be really cool if they did. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and hop on the horse and continue on through Sepermeru. So yeah, you've got all these buildings and thralls that you can do. We'll come back and do the wine cellar, but we want to go talk to Ramza. Another thing that's kind of funny about Ramza, she's right here in Sepermeru. Okay, now these guys, once you kind of start getting into the northern end of town, you're going to run into these thug people, and they will attack you. And so, if you keep your thralls on defend, then they will defend you without attacking everybody else. The problem, though, is that if there are other villagers in range in aggro range, then they'll enter the fight too. So, but you can't really do much about that. So. And these guys are fairly tough too. I mean, they will absolutely wreck you in the early game. So if you do come to Sepermeru in the early game, stay out of the northern end of town, because yeah, they'll hurt you. They'll put the hurt on you. Okay, so this is a gate that kind of goes out on the western end. Another gate there, and then there's a level 2 bearer. We want to keep working our way this direction. We're going to get attacked by some more of these guys. And there's never just one of them either. There's always a group of them that'll come after you. We'll let our peeps take care of them. Okay, so let's see. We want to go this way. South Lake. So I obviously know where Rasmus' quarters are because I've done this before, but the first time I played, the game, I didn't. So I had to look like all over for her quarters, and I will save you guys the mystery there by showing you exactly where it is, just because I know where it is. And it's right here. So it's basically this place that has a kind of a partially open door. And before we go talk to Erasma, up here, if you come up to the top of the building and click on this, or press E on this, you will learn the Relic Hunter armor, which is basically the armor that all of the fighter types of people, this stuff right here that these guys are wearing, that's the Relic Hunter armor. I think it's medium, it's either light or medium armor. Okay, let's go ahead and go on into Rasmus' quarters, and let's talk to her. So this is the lady that's in the very beginning of the game that Conan removes off the cross in the opening cinematic of the game.
I wanted to thank you. The woman that you met in those ruins, that was not me. She was ancient and wicked and powerful.
Okay. So she's talking about the Witch Queen. So let's continue the conversation, and I'll try and fill in the blanks if she doesn't herself.
You almost killed me in that city. I cannot begrudge you that. Such a terrible, awesome creation. While I wore the mask, I was somebody else. I was something else. Such power and knowledge. I stood on an island in a vast ocean. I could see across the water in every direction. And that ocean was time. I am sorry. It is difficult to describe. All I have are fragments, Her memories evaporate from my mind like mists above the oasis. If you have questions, you must ask them quickly. My mind is leaking, purging itself of all traces of that woman. She knew so much about these bracelets we wear, about the giant kings and the ancient war, about the darkness that lurks in the volcano, and... Just ask, friend, before I lose the nerve to speak. The bracelets, she made them together with the giant kings. The bracelets were imbued with the power of 7 artifacts. The Witch Queen's mask, the diadem of the giant kings, the tears of 2 races, the shining trapezohedron, the star of the champion, the heart of the sands, and the black ring of Set. The bracelets were created to translate any language for the wearer, to allow swift movement around the Empire, and to allow communication and recording through the lore stones. It was only later, when the war began, that the Queen suspected that the Giant Kings had included a death weave in the sorcery. Any who tried to flee their control were simply killed by the curse wall. Her people, the Lemurians, were the remnant of a desperate race. Her memories before the exiled lands are vague and confused. Flashes of an island kingdom, sinking as the world heaves. A people being subjugated with fire and sorcery. An escape, and a long, treacherous journey into the West. I'm sorry, it's fading so quickly. I remember a daughter, Teleth, and a great betrayal. And a grandchild. She was a mother and a grandmother. She knew what it was to be a slave, and didn't want that for any of her people. She would stop at nothing to prevent it from happening again. Can you blame her? Her mind shies away from 2 things: her grandchild and what her people found in the volcano. Her grandchild was not truly human. Zoltar? He was a hostage or something else. I'm sorry. For her, these memories were laden with emotion. I see a beloved daughter, and a hated foe, and a child that brings hope. It is so very unclear. As for what her people discovered at the volcano, horror, anger, and disgust, and fear. This is the only memory where the Witch Queen of Lemuria felt fear. I truly don't know what I will do now that I have my freedom. Conan has offered to accompany me north, back to my home city in Shem. My palace awaits me, and the pampered life of a princess of Shem. But my enemies, the ones who sent me here, they also await me there. Perhaps instead, I will travel with Conan a while, see the world by his side. He is formidable, yes, for a barbarian. You almost killed me in that city.
Excuse me. So that is
Such a terrible,
some pretty interesting information,
while
and really kind of fills in some gaps in the story, even though chronologically things are a little bit weird. She talks like she's already spoken again with Conan, and they're potentially making plans, but he's acts like he doesn't know where she is. So I don't quite get that. That's always confused me a little bit, but she really tells us a lot about the story. So it was actually her that we defeated in the Witch Queen's palace. She was wearing the Witch Queen's mask, which basically allowed the Witch Queen's, I guess, spirit to possess her. And apparently when we defeated her, we didn't actually kill her all the way, because she's still alive. And then she talks a little bit more about the bracelets and kind of fills in some gaps with that too. And that kind of goes back to my point, you know, that I made about how, you know, Sepermeru is not really a place that you necessarily would come to in the early game, because it sort of kind of gives some spoilers, you know, about the story and stuff like that. So anyway, interesting though. And so let's see, where are we at here? Why don't we go ahead and go into the wine cellar? We'll kind of just go to the entrance, but I think we're gonna, after that, we'll probably just wrap up the episode and then start the next one there, because the wine cellar takes a while to get through. It is, in my opinion, probably the most challenging dungeon in this game, and we definitely don't have time to do all of it in just one episode, along with everything else that we've already done. So let's just run past these yahoos and get back over to there, and we'll get started. We'll kill Zeth and see if we can get his truncheon. We're gonna stop in and talk to Conan again for just a second. Hey, dude. So here's the key to Rasma's quarters, and she's just right over there in the west part of the city. So she's waiting for you over there. Okay. There you go. Thanks. Okay. Conan's appreciative of the fact that we told her where to find him. Find her. Got a bit of a melee going on here. Don't hit the horse.
Such will glory in your death! As the snake strikes, so do I! Cut your...
Nice. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to... Wait, do we still have somebody attacking? There's an archer attacking us from somewhere. I don't see him, though. Huh. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and send these guys home, because, again, we have to do all the dungeons the first time with just one throw. So let's see. You go home. You go home. And you go home. And you go home. All right. We were going to... Well, okay. We can't take Sync with us in the dungeon after all. I mean, we could, but then we couldn't take Leon, and I want Leon with me in there. And then Rock, you can go home too, buddy. Okay, you ready to do this, buddy? He said he's ready. Oh, we want to put him... Well, once we get in the dungeon, we'll put him back on attack all enemies. Okay. So, this is the entrance to the wine cellar. And it's pretty dark in here, so we'll probably end up... Here, let's put you back on attack all enemies. We'll probably end up using our mask in at least in parts of it. But this is Zeth here. He's drunk. But you can get his truncheon if you're lucky enough for him to drop it. He's a one skull, but he's really easy to kill. All right, did he drop it? Nope, he didn't drop it. Let's see. What is this? Herbalist notes. Oh, no, that's just part of the Emberlight mod. All right, and then so if we come into here, we have some relic hunters. Relic hunter treasure seekers that kind of guard the entrance to the mine. Okay, let's put this on. And we have a book here. So, yeah, the story, the Wine Cellar is completely, you know, the story behind it and all that is completely separate from the main game. It's like its own almost sub thing within the game. But it's an interesting story. And it's also, you know, when you encounter the books, it happens in reverse chronological order. So let's go ahead and read the book here. Ha! Finally fortune smiles on me again. A brute came to the tavern today, naming himself Conan of Sepermeru. Szeth didn't like the look of him, of course, and so he picked a fight. Conan beat him bloody, but the barbarian isn't a man to hold grudges. He spent the rest of the night buying Szeth drinks. He even helped me carry Szeth down into the wine cellar after Szeth passed out. I like the Sumerian. Innkeeper's Ledger. Okay, that's actually not the first part of the story of the dungeon. Okay, so here you go, folks. Welcome to the wine cellar. It's a little bit washed out, so maybe we'll take the mask back off. And so, yeah, we have to work our way all the way up to that area over there, and it should be fun. But like I said, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up the episode here, and we will pick up right where we left off in the next episode and do the Wine Cellar Dungeon. So, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment, share the video, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Goodbye.